name is Jason Osborne, and I'm the Athletic Director for Miamisburg City Schools. On behalf of Miamisburg City Schools and the Hall of Fame Committee, welcome to tonight's 2024 Hall of Fame Induction Reception. We are live streaming tonight's ceremony. If you have someone that may be interested in that, you can find that at Miamisburgathletics.com, where we have the link. It is an honor to be here with some of the finest and most productive athletes in the history of Miamisburg schools. We appreciate you giving up your evening to be here with us tonight. Tonight, we will be adding 3 new individual members along with 1 team to our Hall of Fame. And these are Dave Cookson, Jordan McGuire, K. Walter Schenck, and the 2004-05 girls basketball team. I have some introductions here I'd like to do. And first off, we're going to do the Hall of Fame Committee. And if you guys would just stand when I read your name, the ones that are with us tonight. We have Rex Gardecki. Go ahead and stand up. Brad Myers. Michael Black. Jason Shade, Ron Russo, Scott Masters, and Allison James. Thank you guys for all you do. If you're interested in information about the Hall of Fame, you can reach out to one of the committee members or reach out to the athletic office. All of the information on the nomination process can be found on Miamisburgathletics.com. Next up, we have, I'd like to bring up Rex Gardecki, who's going to say a few words about the Miamisburg Schools Education Foundation.
Good evening, everybody. When we made this selection for the Hall of Fame, it's always a difficult decision because you think you're leaving somebody out, which we do. That's the tough part about it. But when we made this decision, it seemed like the people that we picked and the teams that we picked were more than qualified. So I'd like to congratulate you for your achievements and what you've done for Miamisburg schools. Secondly, being on the Hall of Fame Committee is very important to me, but I've also been involved with the Miamisburg Education Foundation. It's an organization that's been going on for years, and we probably, as Mike McKay would know, we probably funded hundreds of thousands of dollars of scholarships to students. Some of you here probably have received those over the years. So I'd just like to say, if you're a member of the board, if you don't mind standing up, and these people, if you have any questions about the foundation, what we can do, we're a tax-deductible situation. We do many grants for teachers, and this has been something that's been very helpful for me. So if you have any questions about this, a donation, $1, $10, $100, it's going to go right back to the kids. So that's what I feel very strong about. So I appreciate your time, congratulations, and have a great night.
Thank you, Rex. Some more introductions with us from Miamisburg City Schools. If you guys would please stand. We have Superintendent Dr. Laura Blessing, Assistant Superintendent Steve Homan, High School Principal Michael Black, Secretary of the Superintendent and Secretary for all of us, Brenda Hibbard, Assistant Athletic Director Jason Shade, and Athletic Secretary Reva Pittman. We also have a couple board members here with us tonight. We have Ann Neese and Chris Amsler. If you guys would all please stand. Head coaches with us here tonight. We have Johnny Wade, baseball. Please stand. Allison James, girls basketball. Lance Schneider, football. John Wist, girls lacrosse. Steve Beekler, softball. Tim Freeze, he's running around here somewhere. He's probably in the gym, boys basketball. And Nathan Carmack, wrestling. Let's give them a round of applause. Our outstanding sports medicine team through Kettering Health Network. We have Laura Stafford, Kelsey Eddy, and our very own Dave Cookson. Kelsey's in the gym probably along with Tim. Our Viking Boosters Association, we have President Jennifer Kopic, Vice President Michelle Lieber, Treasurer Michael Tauby, and Secretary Michelle Willis. A big thank you to the Viking Boosters Association for sponsoring tonight's dinner catered by TJ Chumps. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you guys. These guys are outstanding volunteers. They're very hard workers and very dedicated. If you guys want more information on how to become a booster member, there's a colorful flyer on your table. We would love for you to QR code that and join the Viking Boosters Association. And lastly, here with us from the city of Miamisburg, we have city council members. We have Mike McCabe, we have Ryan Colvin, Steve Beegler, and Tom Nicholas. If you guys would stand. Appreciate all you guys do. I would like to congratulate our inductees and their families on their accomplishments. This is an outstanding class that has made our community and school proud in so many ways. These individuals have left a lasting impression on the people who watch them excel in competition, along with building an impactful relationships with the student athletes they serve. Their generosity and support of Miamisburg athletics has had a great impact on many young lives. And at this time, I would like to bring up our first inductee. It's going to be Dave Cookson. He is being inducted tonight as a contributor. Dave will be presented by his co-worker and friend, Laura Stafford, if you guys would both come up.
Hello, my name is Laura Stafford, and I have been Cookie's work wife since 2016. And just to tell you a little bit about him and how he came to be where he is tonight. Dave Cookie Cookson came to MHS in 1982 as the faculty athletic trainer and remained in this position until taking a role with St. Elizabeth Sports Medicine Center in 1987. He has outstanding knowledge and skills as an athletic trainer. Relating to school administrators, coaches, athletes, and their families comes naturally to Dave. Cookie was a tremendous asset to St. E's, later Franciscan, and eventually Kettering Health Sports Medicine, as well as the schools and the athletes of the programs that he served. He was the guru of orthotics, silicone casting, and bracing in general, skills that the Miamisburg community were blessed to have in their own backyard. Cookie loved his time as a faculty athletic trainer at MHS. He earned the respect of the community and the school by building strong relationships. He was always involved in Miamisburg events. I missed having Cookie as my high school athletic trainer by a couple of years, but fate had other plans for us. I began my tenure as Cookie's co-worker in 1999, and I remember early on working at the Turkey Trot and having an endless stream of burgers stick their head in the door of the sports medicine van looking for Cookie, because sports medicine in this community means Dave Cookson for so many people. So it came as no surprise that he accepted the assignment to return to MHS in 2007 as a representative of Kettering Sports Medicine when the opportunity presented itself. He has earned a reputation in the Miamisburg community as an exceptional healthcare professional, a person of excellent character and personal integrity. This reputation was earned by always being on duty when his help was requested, whether during work hours or in the evening or on weekends. In addition, he's always gone the extra mile to personally care for the athlete or assisting the athlete in obtaining the best medical care available. As a result, he is beloved by current and former athletes and their families who frequently seek him out to greet him years after their competitive days have ended. Cookie's received many honors throughout his career as well. In 1994, he was named Ohio Athletic Trainer of the Year. In the fall of 2022, he was awarded the Proud of the Polo Award by his coworkers for his efforts in maintaining super high levels of taping and treatments during that busy season. Just to tell you how many: visits to the athletic training, 2,838, and tape jobs, 1,524. And mind you, this was one season out of 1 year of the span of his career. So you can see how many lives he's touched over the years. Over the course of his career, he has seen the uncommon injury of a ruptured spleen 3 separate times, the most recent in the fall of 2021, when an opposing soccer player was injured at Holland Field. His quick action and recognition of the dire nature of the injury saved that young man from internally bleeding to death. And in the spring of 2022, the Ohio Athletic Training Association honored him with an award for special consideration for that life-saving work. Later on that spring, he received the OHSAA Adult Service Award, which is awarded to a non-student who has made an outstanding contribution to high school sports. But Cookie didn't stay satisfied with his vast wealth of knowledge. In fact, I admire the way he continued educating himself right up until he retired, adding skills like cupping, scraping, and KT taping to his repertoire, and even conquering the dreaded electronic documentation despite his uneasy relationship with technology overall. He's mentored hundreds of young men and women over his years, many of whom have gone on to medical careers of their own due to his influence. The student aides have always enjoyed hearing his stories, and to quote them, said he is wise. But they've taken opportunities to teach him new things also, like him having mad riz, and that the hospitality room food is bussin'. Not that they needed to tell him that, though, because he never saw free food that he did not enjoy. If you've ever been in a fantasy league with him, you know his skill level there, and he honed those skills through hours of conversation with the young athletes he cared for, offering suggestions and sharing knowledge while debating the fitness of various players for that week's games in the pros. And all of these students have made sure to carry on his tradition of playing Bon Jovi every Friday night in preparation for the game, and we think of him every time a Billy Joel song comes on. While he came to us from the East Coast through Ohio University, go Bobcats, he quickly became a much-loved member of the Burg community and a vital part of the team. Cookie has been a longtime resident of the Burg with his wife, Lori. My husband can attest to the hours that an athletic trainer is gone from the home, and it takes a special partner to help manage that work-life balance. So having a wife like Lori allowed Cookie to be who he was to the rest of us. Their 4 daughters, Alyssa, Rebecca, Holly, and Carolyn, all graduated from MHS, and Cookie and Lori are the proud grandparents of 7 grandchildren. His life's work has been helping people, and anyone who knows him would say he has been successful in that. I'm honored to have been his co-worker, lucky to be his friend, and so happy to introduce him as recipient of this honor. Congratulations, Cookie, on being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Well, we'll say a little about Laura later. Some of you probably says, Cookie, where's your glasses? I got cataract surgery this week and I don't need them anymore, so I just need my readers. Yeah, so thank you, Laura, and let's see, and all of you have come tonight to celebrate with me. This is quite an honor and quite a surprise, quite honestly. I want to give my congratulations to Jordan Kay, the 2004-2005 women's basketball team that is also going into this tonight also. So why choose a career as an athletic trainer? I've beat myself over the head a lot of times about that. Most people that go into the athletic training profession have done so because they have been a prior athlete, have background in sports, which is my background. I grew up playing sports, I grew up around sports, and I wanted to do something that kept me around sports. Other people go into it, and maybe it's because they've had an injury in sports where they were exposed to an athletic trainer or to a physical therapist or to an orthopedic sports medicine physician. I've had many kids in that situation that have gone on to medical careers. So I chose to be an athletic trainer. I played a little bit of basketball, a little bit of baseball in high school. I was a better baseball player, a pitcher, than I was a basketball player. And I began to get some hints that my athletic career wasn't going to go very farther past high school. I grew up in Rhode Island, as she told me that Laura had mentioned. And I'll just give you a couple quick stories. My junior varsity basketball coach at Tolman High School in Pawtucket, Rhode Island was a man named Frederick Warburton. And I didn't play much, so one night at my surprise before a game, he summoned Cookson, Glenn, McKitchen, Doherty, Sullivan, Quinn. You guys are starting tonight. I'm like, what? I'm starting? I've never started. Anyway, so he says, guys, we're going to get out there tonight. We're going to play an aggressive 3-2-1 ball-man defense. And I thought, I said, Coach Warburton, that's 6 guys. And he said, you're right, Dave, you sit down. So that was pretty much it for basketball. My baseball coach, Ted McConnell, who was the dean of coaches in Rhode Island baseball, also doubled as my guidance counselor. And that was back in the day when you took your SAT scores, took your test, your scores went to your guidance counselor, not to your house. So I got summoned to his office one afternoon, and I just assumed we were going to talk about baseball. And he said, and we did talk about baseball a little bit, but he said, Cookie, I've got your SAT scores here. So I said, okay. He goes, we're going to, right off the bat, we're going to eliminate the Ivy League schools. So, eliminating Harvard and Yale, I ended up at the University of Rhode Island, where I tried to go out for baseball there, and after a couple of days, it was obvious it wasn't going to be successful. So I ran into a friend named Charlie Thompson, who was from East Providence, Rhode Island, who was a student athletic trainer there. And he suggested, Cookie, why don't you come down and train with me, meet Tom Dolan and Mike Rule, and see if you want to try this athletic training thing. So I did, and 4 years later, I graduated from the University of Rhode Island with a degree in physical education and athletic training. So after 4 years at URI, it was either get a job or I was advised to go to graduate school. So I ended up going to Ohio University, and I can say to my old coach now, I did make it to an Ivy League school because OU is called Harvard on the hockey. So I made it to Okay, so between graduating from University of Rhode Island and going to OU, something very, very important happened in my life. In June of 1981, Lori Charpentier married me. And obviously became, in June of 81, became my wife. We were together 8 years before we got married, and we've been married 42 plus years going into this year. Lori was my support system, and is my support system. She, you grow up in Rhode Island, if you move, you usually move a couple of blocks over. You don't move to another state. And she was the oldest of 5, and she moved with me to Ohio to support me during my grad school years and stayed with me ever since. She was there for the long nights and the long hours and, et cetera. So, Laurie, thank you very much. I love you and you're my support. So thank you. So, with that, Laura already touched on this, but we were blessed with 4 children who have all given us, who combined have given us 7 grandchildren. My daughter Alyssa lives in Atlanta. My daughter Rebecca lives in Panama City. My daughter Holly lives in Long Beach, California, and Carolyn also lives in Irvine, California. They've all been Miamisburg graduates and have all gone on to be successful. A couple of teaching positions, a couple of, my youngest daughter is an adolescent child psychiatrist, and Holly is involved in supervising teachers that take care of autistic children, also in California. So, okay, so our plan when we got to Ohio was to be here for 2 years. I mean, we were East Coast people. We want to get back to Rhode Island, and if possible. How'd that work? We've lived in Miamisburg 42 years. So when it came time for me to look for a job after grad school, why Miamisburg? Well, I actually was looking for a job in Texas and went down there to a district athletic trainer meeting and got offered a job and accepted a job at John Jay High School in San Antonio, Texas. That afternoon, I got a phone call from Skip Vossler, who was my trainer and supervisor during the curriculum at OU, and he says, "What are you doing in Texas?" He said, "There's a job that just opened up or that's going to open up in Miamisburg, and I think it would be perfect for you." So I said, well, we just left Ohio. We were used to Providence and Boston, and then we got Athens and Gloucester. I took care of the Trimble Tomcats for a year while I was at OU. So I said, I'll have some persuading to do for Lori. So Skip said, in typical Skip fashion, said, tell her that Miamisburg is a lot closer to Rhode Island than San Antonio is. Tell her that it's a suburb of Dayton, and tell her that they've got a mall. And that was a good selling point. The Dayton Mall was a good selling point in getting Lori to come here. So then I came out here, I interviewed, and was offered the position, had to let the people know at John Jay that I was going to take the job at Miamisburg. So when we moved to Miamisburg, we didn't know a soul other than the people that were on the interview committee for the job. And we came here, we didn't know anybody, and we were kind of like, oh boy, you know, we're East Coast people, how are we going to be treated in the burg? So anyway, everything went smoothly. We met some unbelievable people that welcomed us into their families, welcomed us into their homes, and I won't go into detail with all of them, but there's so many that we met, but I just want to mention that everything went a lot smoother for us here when we met the Myers, the Parkers, the Sizemores, the Giffens, the Milettas, the Olders, the McCabe's, the Woods, the Nicholases, the Weisses, the Hortmans, the Tovines, and many, many other people with that welcomed us to the community, and here we are, still here. So I want to go back to the Parkers for 1 second. My first job here, my first job, right? Don't count the grad school year. So my first job here, my football coach was Dave Parker. So most of you guys know Dave Parker. Dave was very tough to deal with. I mean, but he taught me, he quite honestly pulled me aside and said, you know, Cookie, you've got to get tougher. Your skin's got to get tougher with these kids. And you know what? He was right. Because I was babying kids too much. And, you know, out of not fear for my life, but I thought, yeah, Dave, you're right. I think I will do that. But Dave Parker's and his family really set the groundwork for me here in Miamisburg. He brought it to my attention that I needed to be tougher, and he was right. And I thank Dave. He's my friend to this day, and I thank him for making me a tougher, better athletic trainer. So every athletic trainer needs a solid support system. And I think that Miamisburg Schools in the state of Ohio has a reputation for having one of the best sports medicine programs around. It started in 1978. Gary Giffen, Gary is there. Gary was, Miamisburg Schools in 1978 was one of a few school districts in Ohio that made the decision that it was worth hiring a teacher/athletic trainer. So Gary came in, set the program, and then in 1982, I believe, he went on to St. Elizabeth's. I got the job. So I was here from 83 to 87. I left to go to St. Elizabeth's, and obviously came back a little bit later. David Bogenschutz got the job after I left. Bogie was here for 30 plus years. And then when he retired, myself and Laura came back. Well, I was already here as an assistant, but we brought Laura in from West Carrollton, and now we have Kelsey Eddy that's with our staff. So if you look at that, oh, I need to mention too, many of those years we had a volunteer athletic trainer here named John Milletta. And if you know John, he was on the school board. John helped Gary, John helped me, John helped Bogey for the first few years, and then John eventually came to work with us at St. Elizabeth and took care of Dunbar. So anyway, the point I want to make here is that consistency, having basically five athletic trainers, head athletic trainers, in that position over 46 years. That's pretty good. I know there's not many Pittsburgh Steelers fans in here, but if you look back at the Steelers, like, you have to admit, I'm a Patriots fan, so it's tough for me to say that the Steelers have been successful. But, you know, they've had 3 head coaches in 50 plus years. Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and now Mike Tomlin. So that's pretty good. 3 head coaches in all those years. And I think it just leads to consistency and builds trust in the community. I'm on my 2nd generation of taking care of kids from Miamisburg now. One of my first times back here, we took care of a kid in the gym here who had a bloody nose, a girl basketball player. And I went up to introduce myself to the mom, to talk to her about it. And she said, oh, I know you, Mr. Coach. You were my 8th grade health teacher. So, consistency. So having an athletic trainers that are familiar to the community, trusted by the community, I think is a huge plus for any program. Along with that comes team physicians. Our first team physician, Gary, got a phone call from Tony Ortiz, who was a trainer then at Beaver Creek High School, saying, hey, there's this new orthopedic surgeon that's coming into town, and he's looking for a high school. Would you be interested? And Gary said, well, heck yeah. So Gary talked to Dr. Frank Manarino, and Dr. Manarino since then had been our team doctor here for 38 years. Okay, off script here. Show of hands. How many people in this room have been a patient of Dr. Manarino's? How many of you have the scars to prove it? Okay. Along with Dr. Manarino, we had a lot of help for many years for Dr. Julie Myers. Julie's not an orthopedic doctor, but Julie, as a family practice doctor, was really helpful to us because probably not three quarters of the kids, but many of the kids that we deal with have her as their family doctor. So Julie was always available to help us with colds and flus and, you know, everything. So Julie was a tremendous support to us. And our current team physician is Dr. Molly Tatum, and she's been with us for the past 5 years. Okay, so along with the team physicians, we have other physicians that have taken care of our kids. We have a very, very strong support system in the Kettering Sports Medicine Center. I work there, I still work there, so I'm a resource employee there. But over at our table here, I have my friends and colleagues from, some were at St. Elizabeth with us, then it became Franciscan, and when Franciscan closed in 2000, we all moved to Kettering and became part of the Kettering Sports Medicine Center and got the contract here. So getting kids in is easy, we get them in quick, and they're all sports medicine trained physicians, and they give us tremendous support and tremendous care. If Laura and I or Kelsey have to be away for something and can't be there, our boss is Jeff and my old boss is Jerry, they got us covered. If somebody else on the staff came over and covered us. Didn't happen very much, but it was good to know that that was available to us. So thanks to the shout out to my colleagues at Kettering Sports Medicine Center. So along the end, getting near the end here, I want to give out thanks and also recognize the support that we get from the following organizations in Miamisburg. The staff at the central office, Dr. Blessing, Steve Holman, and Brenda, are tremendous help to us, and it's good to know that you have the support from the top all the way down. The Miamisburg School Board, the Miamisburg High School, and Miamisburg Middle School Administration have been big helps, and now we get to the Miamisburg High School Athletic Department. You know, I've been to a lot of schools, and I've been dealing with a lot of athletic directors over the years. One of my schools, I had 6 athletic directors in 7 years. So our athletic department here, Jason Shea, Jason Osborne, and Reba Pittman, are second to none. They are so helpful and so supportive of the training room, it's unbelievable, okay? So I want to give a shout out to them for all their support. They get the job done, but they also make it fun to go to work. So that's something I will definitely miss as I'm retiring. Okay, the Miamisburg High School Athletic Booster Club and the entire Miamisburg High School coaching staff. This is not any BS. I hear our trainers, some of our trainers, talk about how they don't get along with their coaches, or this coach did that, or this coach does this. Laura and I, we didn't have that. We don't have that problem here in Miamisburg. We communicate with them. There's trust between each other. There's some give and take, but for the most part, we take care of the kids. They're in it for the kids' interest also, and we couldn't ask for a better coaching staff than what we have in Miamisburg. Okay, so parents and student athletes always get a big shout out from us. Communication. I'd rather talk to a parent in person about their kid's injury than send them an email or a text. Just the way I was taught. Last but not least, thanks to the entire all the student athletic trainers and student aides that have given up their time and their support for taking care of our student athletes. I think some of them are here. Where are they? At least 2 of my original ones were here. Danielle Santee, that's Danielle Kuhn, and Christine McGriff, now Christine Kuhn, were student aides for us. They were also babysitters. Don't ask them how to take care of a watermelon. But anyway, so they've gone on to be student trainers that have gone on and obviously very successful. So in conclusion, my deepest thanks to the Hall of Fame Committee for electing me into your group. I am truly honored to be a part of this fraternity. And the last thing I want to mention is that as I'm retiring, I'll have my license until September of this year. Laura and Kelsey are in the seats over there now. I'm just the third wheel. I'm just going to come in and help as needed. But I can tell you that Laura, you know, in the 7 years with Laura and I never had an argument, never had a disagreement. And that's true. And she, and you know, when she called me her work husband, that's my work wife. So anyway, so now that Laura and Kelsey in the seat, the athletes of Miamisburg, the student athletes, could not be in better hands. So again, thank you to everybody, and I'm so touched by this honor. And as always, Wilbur.
Laura was saying some stuff over there, I don't know. I'm not sure I believe it or not. Congratulations, Cookie. Tonight's next inductee is Jordan McGuire, class of 2007. He is being inducted tonight as a participant in wrestling. Jordan will be presented by his high school coach, Willie Weinberg. Come on up, boys.
Waiting for all my wrestling guys to make fun of my glasses. Cookie, I don't think you get a minute for every year you lived in the Berg. I'm going to tell you a story, and as any good story starts, this one started with a kid named Tucker Guy. Right there, some people probably know where this is going. Tucker Guy was in the first class I ever taught at Medlar View Elementary as a 5th grader. To say he was a challenge would be an understatement. From his Austin Powers impersonations to his unpredictable comments, Tucker always made it interesting. But we found common ground when I found out that he wrestled. I also enjoyed the fact that it was at a really tough day of school, I could always go to youth practice and get back at him later that night. So when Tucker came up to the high school conditioning as a 7th grader and told me he brought a friend who had never wrestled, wearing baggy clothes and some super heavy, big high tops, you can only imagine the thoughts running through my head. Thoughts like, why, Tucker? And seriously, Tucker? And there's no way this guy is going to make it, Tucker. But who was I to turn down a potential wrestler? So I figured I would let him go through conditioning, knowing he would probably never come back. Conditioning involved some running around the upstairs track, an enclosed track that was 1/8 of a mile all the way around, and I heard every clomp and step all the way around the track from the new guy. Clomp, clomp, clomp. Thoughts went through my head like, well, he's not a runner, and seriously, Tucker, and there's no way this guy's gonna make it. We started doing some things on the mat, started doing some tumbling, started doing some basic skills. That's when the heavens opened and the lights came down. This new guy could do things that other guys couldn't. This guy was an athlete. That's when I decided to learn his name for the first time. That's when I met Jordan McGuire. I had my eye on Jordan while he began his wrestling career at Miamisburg Junior High, like I had on multiple wrestlers from the same class. I would go watch them compete in various tournaments during the season, and I went to watch the finals of one of those tournaments. And there was Jordan McGuire in the finals. And I honestly don't remember if he won or lost that finals. I did know that I needed him to stick with the sport. I do know that whatever I saw in that match made me decide to call him that night and congratulate him on what he had done. I made that call to congratulate him and selfishly to keep him in the sport. You never know what a small gesture, like a short phone call, will make or impact on somebody. I found out when I received a text from Jordan about introducing him tonight. After a few texts back and forth, he ended his last text with, well, you helped for sure, ever since that call in middle school. Wow, I had no idea. Something so small, something that took maybe 30 seconds. I mean, I was talking to a junior high boy, we all know that they have no conversational skills, was mentioned as a decision-making part of someone's life over 20 years ago. That new to wrestling 7th grader that was clomping around the track, possibly still undecided about if he wanted to even do the sport, would become one of the best wrestlers in Miamisburg history. Jordan McGuire finished his career at Miamisburg as a 2-time state placer, placing 4th in 2006 and 2007, a 3-time state qualifier, a district champion, a 2-time sectional champion, a very rare 4-time league champion, 3 times in the MML and one time when we moved to the GWalk, and Dayton Division I Wrestler of the Year in 2007. At the time of his graduation, Jordan owned the following records. He was 5th in single season wins record. He was 2nd on the all-time takedown record with 399 takedowns. He was 2nd on the all-time pin record with 62. And he was first on the all-time wins record with 128, which unfortunately only lasted 1 year until Brett Ewing took the #1 spot with 129 wins the very next season. Wrestlers are described in many different ways. Not all of them are flattering. Wrestlers are crazy. Wrestlers are wild. Wrestlers aren't quite all there in the head. Wrestlers have a screw loose. Yes, wrestlers are different, and wrestlers take that as a compliment. You have to be a little crazy, a little rebel, and you have to have a little crazy, a little rebel in you to be a good wrestler. Jordan embodies that. Nothing bothered Jordan. Nothing rattled him. If he beat you, he expected to. If he lost, he was going to find a way to make you remember him, and it wasn't going to be pleasant. This was seen every day in practice as he and his equally bit of a screw-loose partner and fellow Miamisburg Hall of Famer Greg Roth literally beat each other up every day. They weren't supposed to even be wrestling live, but their drills ended up being live wrestling for about an hour, culminating in black eyes and stitches. I'm pretty sure somebody's head got run into a metal pole at some point, and they liked it. And they liked each other more for it, and they respected each other more because that's what wrestlers do. This rebellion was seen during his senior year state semifinals. Jordan had a wrestler named Colin Palmer, who was going for his 4th state wrestling title. He was from St. Ed's. Colin Palmer had been walking through districts and state, tech falling and pinning pretty much everybody he wrestled. Nobody really even stepped up to challenge him. People were scared of him. People gave up. But not Jordan. I can honestly say that I watched Jordan McGuire go out there with only one goal, to win. That's the only way he knew how to go out and wrestle. He battled one of the best in the history of Ohio for 6 minutes. And though he lost, Colin Palmer, who did end up winning his 4th state title, had to work for every point, had to earn his way back to the finals that year because of Jordan McGuire. Now, I may start to be known as the coach who always tells stories about the losses that his wrestlers endure. I didn't even know Sean Fayette was going to be here tonight, but I told a story about Sean Fayette, who went into the Hall of Fame a few years ago, about a loss that he took at state. But I think you learn more about a person's character, what that person is made of, more from their losses than from their wins. Jordan McGuire, the kid stopped clomping around the track with his baggy clothes, who challenged anyone in his way, whether in practice or at the state meet, who never backed down from a challenge in front of him, is now being inducted to the Miamisburg Athletic Hall of Fame. I could not be a prouder coach, I could not be prouder as his coach and his friend to be the one to induct him tonight. Without further ado, 24 Miamisburg Athletic Hall of Fame inductee, Jordan McGuire.
Well, thank you. It's an honor. I do remember all those practices with Roth over there. We definitely went at it. Those were the good times. And I remember back in the day with Coach Cruel, wherever he's at, he kind of was there back in the day getting me cutting weight for the first time and huddling up and getting all sweaty and trying to lose, 5 pounds. All the buddies and just all the camaraderie around the room, and even with Ryan Burry and who else, Adam Price, and all those guys that made it just a pleasure to wrestle for. And it was just a good thing to be a part of. And I'm glad that I'm here with all you guys, and it's an honor to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I couldn't say thank you enough. Thank you.
Congratulations, John. Our final individual inductee tonight is Kay Walter Schenck, class of 1983. She is being inducted tonight as a participant in cheerleading, softball, as well as a coach. Kay will be presented by her friend Cheryl Wilbur and her daughter Allison Nolan. Please come up.
Hi everyone, my name is Allison and I'm Kay's favorite child. Wait, I got that wrong. Michaela is her favorite daughter, Kip is her favorite son, and I'm the middle child. But look who's standing here. Alright. Growing up, you always think that your mom is special, and our mom is no different. We always loved hearing stories. Who did this, like, bolted? Sorry. We always loved hearing stories about her sports endeavors. Like, for instance, did you know that Kay Schenck does not need a glove to catch a softball? She can catch it for the other team when they miss. And that's how she started junior year with 2 black eyes and a broken nose. Or how she was a part of the first ever Miamisburg cheer team to win nationals. But you know that your mom was really special when the one and only Mr. Weiss stops you, I kid you not, September of 2023, saying, hey, when's your mom gonna make it into the Hall of Fame? Thank you, Cheryl. But the truth is, my mom is so much more than just an athlete. She's been a loving wife for 35 years and counting. She's been a great mom, a coach, a career woman. As a coach, she models hard work and integrity, and as a mom, she's always been our #1 fan. I know I speak for many, including my papa, who's beaming down with pride tonight. Kay Schenck, you're truly special, and I'm honored that you're our mom. I didn't say a bad word, and I didn't roast her the whole time, so you're welcome.
Hello everyone, my name is Cheryl Wilbur, and I am pleased to speak on behalf of my nominee and my best friend Kay Walter Schenck. First, I'd like to thank the voting committee for accepting her into the Hall of Fame for 3 categories: softball, cheerleading from 1981 to 1983, and coaching 2006, and she's still currently in that role for a few more weeks, so she says. We'll see. Nobody's holding their breath. I have had the great pleasure of coaching alongside Kay for the past 15 years. We have become lifelong friends, and during that time, I'm her occasional +1, which is how we got here tonight. Last year, I attended the ceremony with her because Mike was out of town, and afterwards, we were standing around talking, and a couple of gentlemen asked her when she was going to be up here, and she said, I don't know. And I thought to myself, why isn't she? I've heard all of her high school stories, and I knew she was pretty good at softball and cheer, but never imagined how good she was until I started investigating. Thanks to her mom, who's not here tonight, but hi. Thank you so much for every newspaper article that had Kay's name in it. She had it, and I got to go through it, and that made my job a whole lot easier. And now we're here tonight to honor her and all the other inductees. Congratulations to all of you. Kay, you've spent your whole life being a true Viking. I'm sure you bleed blue, my friend. I'll start with her softball career. Kay was a 3-time varsity letter winner. She only lettered 3 times because at that time, back in the old days, the freshmen were not at the high school. Her junior year, she was first team MCC for outfield. The team went 20-6 and won the MCC South Division. They were also district champs and finished runner-up at regionals. Her senior year, they were now in the MML League, where once again she made first team and took home the MML title that year. Kay was also named to the Metro All-Star roster. She is currently ranked 9th all-time career runs with 78, 7th on career triples with 7, and 4th on the toughest to strike out with an average of .025. Too shabby, my friend. Now to her cheer awards. She was a 3-time varsity Landover for cheer as well. Kay was part of the first competition cheer squad for Miamisburg in 1981, coached by Peggy McKay. The team won the All-American Cheerleading National titles for 3 straight years, which leads us to her coaching accomplishments. Kay has been a member of the cheer coaching staff for the past 18 years, but she started coaching with the Levites during high school. She coached the little 5th grade girls. She then moved into the coaching position at the middle school, and in 2008 moved to the high school where she's still currently. In that time, she has led the team to 5 GWAC titles, 6 state titles, and 4 national titles, and we hope to add to that number as we head to Orlando in a couple weeks. Kay was a rock star on and off the field and floor. She was a member of the National Honor Society her junior and senior year, and was named Homecoming Queen her senior year. Kay, my friend, you have done some wonderful things in this town, and you have touched countless lives along the way. You have done all this with such grace and leadership. You are truly an amazing role model for all these young ladies that you were a teammate to and that you coached over the years. Okay? You're the yin to my yang. How much we think alike sometimes is scary. But girl, it has been an absolute pleasure being by your side. Thank you for letting me be part of your journey, and I can't wait to see what we get into as we start our next chapter in life. Here's to many more dinners, trips, weddings, and grandbabies. And now it's with great pleasure that I introduce the 2024 Hall of Fame inductee, Kay Walters.
All right, it's gonna be hard to talk now. Okay. First off, I'd like to thank Cheryl for nominating me, and also the committee for presenting me with this recognition tonight, and also for all the support from our school district, for our school board, and especially for Jason, who's put up with me for 18 years. Just a lot of schools don't have the support that when I go to sporting events, the other cheer coaches just talk about how they don't have the support from their athletics, be it our trainers, be it our AD, whatever. But I am proud to say that we always have a positive word about our school district and the support that this school does for us. So thank you guys. I also want to give a big shout out here to Steve Wise for campaigning for me. Every time I'm around him, just hearing him say the words, we got to get you into that Hall of Fame meant a lot, so thanks, Steve. All right. Well, this is certainly the most meaningful and personal honor that I've received, especially because I'm the first cheerleader/coach represented in the Hall of Fame. I'm both proud and humbled, if you can be both at the same time, to be here in front of you tonight. When Jason, most of you call him Ozzy, called me and told me that I was going to be inducted, the news caught me off guard, and I was very surprised. And then when he told me it was for cheer, softball, and coaching, sorry, my smile just got even bigger. All right. We've already spoken about me. Now I'd like to focus. Sorry, I get emotional. Ask my girls over here. I can't look at them. All right, we've already spoken about me. I'm going to speak about some others. All right, we're going to start with cheer. My cheerleading days, my many things, has to go back to Coach Sandy Campbell, who instilled in us to set that perfection bar high and to keep on with the drive. Also appreciate my middle school, or back then it was junior high coach, Miss Douglas. She instilled in us the importance of knowing the game,
I still remember when she brought in the football coach to teach us the X and O's of the game. Something I still try to install in my cheerleaders today is know the game. Right, ladies? All right. On to my high school days with Coach Peggy McCabe. And as she called us, her sensational six. Tina Arnett, Kim Campbell, Lisa Parkhurst, Angie Shea, Jeannie O'Donnell. Coach McCabe was the first coach to move Miamisburg cheer onto the national stage. I remember during my junior year, Coach saying she was tired of getting second place. So the rest of it's history, and I just wish it was still that easy to motivate the athletes of today. Thanks, Becky. All right, softball, here we go. Softball, what can I say? I could talk to you forever about softball, but don't worry, I'll just keep it to an hour tonight, all right? All right. Not gonna lie, when Jason told me my personal records, I had no idea. All I knew is I love playing ball. Playing center field wouldn't have been the same without Judy Guthrie. We played side by side since we were around 10 years old, and we always had each other's backs out there in the outfield. No one in our era could forget about our team from '82. We only had 2 seniors, but we were still a powerhouse. We were coached by Rita Wagner and Janet Joseph, called JJ. And here are some of the reasons why we can't forget '82, according to Coach Wagner. Yep, I still have the end of season program. Thank you. All right. We had the best year in history of Miamisburg softball. We won the district. We were among the top 8 AAA teams in the state. We handed East their only loss during regular season play. For those who don't know, who are too young to know, Fairmont was divided into East and West. And back in the day, East was the beast that you wanted to beat. So it was a very, very pleasing or very happy when we beat them. However, that ended up being the team that beat us in the regional finals. But moving forward, we scored 240 runs to our opponent's 92. And as Coach said, we got where we are by working and playing as a team. Coach Wagner was always easy to play for, and I think that helped us play our best for her. She was always laughing and then making us laugh. Coaching. My years of cheering and playing ball have both molded me to the coach I am today. I love coaching both cheer and travel ball. I mention the travel ball because we use the STEAM teams to help build our high school program here. But tonight it's about my cheer teams. What an amazing, crazy, challenging, rewarding adventure that I'm still on. Hoping to bring home yet another national title in just a couple weeks. I started coaching Wing Bikes my first year out of high school and still haven't stopped. I can't believe I've been coaching for middle school and high school for the past 18 years. I can't be that old, but I'm still not as old as that guy. So back in the day, Cookie and Griffin were my athletic trainers, and they used to take care of my ankles. Thanks, guys. All right, I've coached with several groups of people, and each has had their own personalities and talents. But the consistency with each group was that we've always had a winning season, including our teams who won state 3 years in a row, and missing 4 years in a row by less than a point. But that's another long day, another time. And then that team also had several other league and national championships. Coaching definitely has its ups and downs, but one thing I know is that no matter what's going on, when you walk into that stadium, that gym, that arena, it all comes flooding back. Why you love it so much. The excitement, the challenges, the victories, the bonding, and all the friends you make along the way. Watching those girls give it 100%. It's hard to believe. I've spent almost 50 years of my life playing and coaching for a Miamisburg team. Over that time, I've gotten to know so many people and have been blessed to be part of some very special Miamisburg high school cheer and softball teams that I consider family. I could not have accomplished so much without God and the support of my own family, starting with my mom and dad, for all the encouragement and all the hours and the coaching they poured into me. I've also been blessed with a very understanding understanding husband, Mike, for the past 35 years. And our 3 children, Michaela, Allison, and Kip, and their significant others, Ben, Tyler, and Casey, and my 2 awesome grandkids, Riley and Axel, and one unnamed on the way. Coaching requires a significant time commitment, and they have been patient and understanding in sharing me with MHS. Thanks, guys. This has been a fun trip down memory lane and preparing for this tonight. Thank you for the opportunity to take this ride. And a special thanks to my mom, who's watching, for all the newspaper clippings that she kept. I will always bleed blue, and I'm proud to be a Miamisburg Viking. Go Big Blue.
Congratulations, Kay. Our final induction of the night is the 2004-05 girls basketball team. The team will be presented by their Hall of Fame coach, Ron Russo. If all of you would come up.
Don't be background. Get it? Come on up. Way to go. Hey. Move up. Let that way. Let them see you. Good job. You can just walk into the room and see the impact. Just by some of the people that are here. I know I'm going to miss some, but we're going to give it a shot. Just because I kept seeing more people come in and more people come in. Man, it was great to see Mr. Smurs. Thank you, sir. Let us run the program how we thought it needed to be run. Mr. Ingham, our principal at the time, both came back from retirement to visit. Awesome stuff. If you were around back then, it was only Channel 2 and 7 and 22 and Date Daily News. You didn't have everything else. And in order for the Date Daily News to write anything about you, it had to be something spectacular. They never really followed Miamisburg sports or wrote too much about Miamisburg sports. But John Cummings was always with us. Always positive, wrote great stuff. We lost Big John, but his wife's here. Thanks, Cummings, for coming. Appreciate it. So, thanks, John. We got members of the Hall of Fame, the other basketball team. I saw Amy Letts is back there, Beth Tuck is back there, Tracy Barnhart's back there. I saw Kristen Weinberg. Because girls basketball is a big deal. Funny story. It used to be Beth Tuck or Aunt Beth, and it used to be Ron Russo. Now we're Dara's Aunt and Dara's Dad. And that changed fast. One of my mentors told me the most important jobs in a program, besides the head coach or your middle school coaches, we wouldn't be anywhere without Lane Hughes and Tracy Barnhart and Eric Winsky, who developed our kids and brought them all up. Here's what's cool about this group. Miamisburg kids, no transfers, no move-ins. We were here, we watched them grow up. This is our team and they're from our town. So, and we appreciate all our middle school coaches help us too. And my staff here, man, what a great staff. Phil is a man, Kathleen McGuire, Coach Max here. Shannon Sorb was on our staff that year. The only bad thing about this group is they chased Shannon's sword away. She realized after one season she would be coaching college, so she didn't want to come back. So Shannon wanted to come. She's coaching at Ursuline College, very successful. They have a game tomorrow, so she couldn't be here with us. But staff is great. We're not here to talk about individual accomplishments. You can look in record books and you can go back and look and you can look all that stuff up. We're here to talk about this group because it was pretty special. Let's get something straight here too. This is the easiest coaching job I ever had. Easiest one I ever had. And any coach that will tell you that they had something to do with victories is not been brought along correctly, but I just made practice plans and made sure we were doing what we're supposed to and tried to keep the path and make some substitutions every once in a while, but I didn't hardly do anything with this group, and they just kept winning and kept winning and kept winning. So, easiest job I ever had. The bottom line is they were good, and they got along. They all got along, and no one cared who got the credit, but man, they were good. I didn't really realize it. It's going to be hard to simulate what we felt in this school and in this town as this team progressed through the season, because I'm just one game at a time and just waiting for the other shoe to drop and just trying to, because it got to be a little fragmented. We had a pretty good summer. We won some games in the summer, went to Purdue, won some games. We lost a couple, and I think we lost our last game, the team camp, pretty bad. People would always ask, how are you guys going to be? And I would always go, I really don't know. And they go, we always say that. I don't. It's high school sports. I didn't really know. We get to the fall. We have all our kids played other sports. We always had to wait for volleyball players to get finished. We always had to wait for soccer players to get finished. And I always complained about waiting on soccer players to get finished. And I just want you guys to know that I paid for that. Thank you very much. Thank you. I've seen more soccer games in the last 15 years, so I paid for that one. We're even that one. But we had a lot of good athletes. So we waited. It was fragmented. We had some injuries in the fall, and then there were college visits. We had some pretty good scrimmages. So you just go, okay, cool. Won our first one. That was good. Got that one out of the way. And then it just progressed along. Then it was 2 wins. And then it was 3. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but you have people walking up to you going, oh, I see you got Carroll coming up. They're really good. Yeah, I know it's going to be tough. And they win that one. And then it just progressed along. But you guys have to go to Lebanon. They're pretty good. Yeah, I know it's going to be tough. And they win again. We have to go to Centerville to play. They're really good. I know it's going to be tough. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but they're pretty good. And they win again. So this just continued along. So they win 23 straight games. But what did they do besides win 23 straight games? What they did for this school and what they did for this city is kind of unmatched. You would not believe the school spirit that was going on in this building and in this town because of these players. How often do you get to go, hey, you guys haven't lost yet, but your team's got to play Carroll. You got to go to Carroll. That'll be tough. And you get to go, yeah, I know it'll be tough. We'll see how we do. And then your team wins. And they do it 23 times in a row. They go 23-0. How often does that happen for fans and people that follow a team? Hardly ever. The spirit they generated is unmatched. I called it community service for Miamisburg High School in the city of Miamisburg is what they did. It was absolutely, and then I think we got to our second Carroll game here where I finally noticed, man, we're drawing some crowds. There's a lot of people here. I'm just trying to keep the straight and narrow and keep the course. And just see if we can get through this one and see if we can get to that. But when we played Carroll at home here, our second time, there were a lot of people here. And the crowd just kept growing and it kept growing. So it goes all the way to 19 wins. Then we have Greenville at home. And at the time, Greenville had a really good team. And we finish out the regular season at 20-0, beat them. Okay, now you gotta go to tournament. So the pressure just keeps mounting and keeps getting thicker and just keeps getting tougher. But not on them, it was all on me. I was the one that was a wreck. They just kept practicing and they kept playing and they kept getting along and they kept doing what they were supposed to. So we beat Dunbar in the first round. We beat Trotwood in the second round. So now we're 22-0. And here comes a rematch with Centerville in the sectional finals. Big game. One of the biggest I've ever coached in. When you pull up to the game in the bus, and you know how early a team gets to a venue, we pulled up in the bus, and the line to get in was at the door and around the building to the back to get into the game. There were 200 people that couldn't get seats in that gym that stayed and stood in the hallway just to get a glimpse of what these guys were doing. And they beat them. 23 straight. Absolutely crazy. So what do you do with a team besides put them in the Hall of Fame that accomplishes things like this? I think what you do is you thank them. Congratulations. Thanks for what they did for this school and for this town. Every season I coached had memories, nothing like this one. This will go unmatched. It was crazy. And they got along, and they kept good attitudes, and they just stayed the course, and we just kept winning, and kept winning, and kept winning. So, you put them in the Hall of Fame, and you say, thanks. Way to go. For everything they did for the city, and everything they did for the school. So, we have tonight with us, we got Carly Schenck, we got Jenna Zawalski-Steinke, we got Lindsay Gillen-Hurley. You should, if you get a chance, just see what they're doing now for careers in their lives. It doesn't surprise me a bit. All super successful. Maria Pelfrey-Raybould, Andrea Cook-Haddix, Eric Oswald-Wojtek, Katie Littmer-Wiley, Allison James, Henry Tusher-Hamilton, Courtney Fout, Chelsea Fraker-Edwards, Brittany Sitter-Zink. Successful families, careers. You knew it was coming just by the way they acted in high school. So, one more time. Thanks. Go on.
Congratulations, girls. What an accomplishment. Okay, in closing, we have a few announcements. We just started the fourth quarter of the JV game, so it's looking like the varsity game will start around 7:45. So we would appreciate it if you would start making your way to the gym around 7:30 after, hanging out with some fellowship here. We have an entire section, like we always do, reserved in the northeast corner of the gym. That's the corner by the training room. So that's all reserved for Hall of Famers and your families to sit there. At halftime, we'll present the class of 2024. We have a shortened version of your bio that was on the website. And we'll be reading that, and then we'll also be announcing any Hall of Fame individual that is here tonight with us. And you would have checked in with Mrs. Pittman as you came in the door. If you did not do that, soon after we break here, if you could go over and let Reba know that you're here so that we can highlight your name, and Danny Prophet will make sure he reads your name there at halftime. So we have the three individuals in the team out center court, and then we arc the rest of the Hall of Famer individuals behind them, or team if you're here from a different team. Another announcement, I don't know if some of you guys might have caught this on your way in, the Gridiron is selling raffle tickets for a football helmet just outside this door. And you might not believe me, but you can take a look at it. Here's the names on this football helmet, and I'll read them off here to you. Bart Starr, Brett Favre, Dan Marino, Joe Montana, Joe Namath, John Elway, Peyton Manning, and oh yeah, Tom Brady. So if you guys would, they're selling tickets for $5 for a ticket, or 5 tickets for $20. Okay, so help support the Gridiron Club on your way out. And that the drawing is not going to be tonight. The drawing is going to be at the Monte Carlo on March 16th. That's the Gridiron Miamisburg football Monte Carlo at the Moose on March 16th. All right, just a few more announcements here. At the conclusion, when I'm done talking, if we could get the individuals and the teams to come up here so we could do a quick photo shoot, we would certainly appreciate that. And then, you know, just in conclusion, and I say this every year, and it's true every year, it's awesome that we have, you know, these individuals, and it's great to hear the stories and to be with family and friends. But what also makes it special is doing this in front of a room of people, a room of special people, a room of dedicated people, a room of supportive people. And so if you're here tonight and you haven't been back for a while, or you come every year, I just want to say thank you. Your attendance helps make the night very special for all of us. So thank you very much, and we appreciate it. This concludes our Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Thank you.